bring up an example, when I first started racing in Auckland, I used to send out emails to businesses with a little bit of a sponsorship, pitch. And I think one year I sent out like over 3,000 emails and didn't get a single, I didn't get a single sponsorship out of it. Got probably maybe 10 phone calls, 2 meetings, and didn't get anything out of it. So it taught me how hard it was going to be, to try and break through and stuff like that. So yeah, probably the first 5 or 6 years of my sprint car career was emailing companies every off season and trying to get in touch with people, messaging family, friends, asking them if they knew of anyone that would take a meeting with me and go through. And yeah, a lot of rejection at the fact that a lot of companies have been burnt by people. I wouldn't say specifically in motorsport, but we use motorsport as an example that, they'll give a race team sponsorship. They'll give them X amount of dollars, they'll put the name on the car, and then they'll never hear back from that driver or that team until it's time to renew the sponsorship again. That was the biggest thing I noticed early on, is that a lot of companies have actually been burnt, that they're like, hey, I've spent X amount in the past and I never heard anything, or they never did anything that they said they were going to do. They promised the world and didn't deliver. So I made it a commitment from early on that, if I was going to do it, I was going to fulfill if I put down I was going to do this, I was going to do it. And I was going to communicate everything we were doing, where we were racing, almost over communicate at the point where they'd probably some of my sponsors get a little bit sick of hearing from me. But I think there's never too much communication when, they're heavily involved in your racing and putting their hard-earned marketing budget, some of their budget, into our team. So yeah, that was the biggest thing I learned. But yeah, the rejection was, the first few no's was quite demoralizing. And you just realize if you don't ask, you don't get. So you just keep asking. But yeah, you sort of learn different ways. Eventually, I realized that networking was going to be the best way to do it. If Fred could open the door to John at XYZ, that was a lot more of an efficient way rather than just sending 3,000 cold emails with a template that you're entering their name. But yeah, it definitely taught me a lot, and